Hey everybody, it's ASIC Eric again, and today we're going to be fiberglassing this baby up and wrapping up that phase of it. My wife chickened out on me today. She said, I have things to do. Oh well. I will get her out here some other time, hopefully. So anyway, there's a few little spots of welding I have to touch up here. I'll go around the panel and make sure I've got everything welded up the way that I want, make sure there's no holes anywhere, and then we're going to put short strand fiberglass across all these welds. I've got this Fiberglass over here. I may run out. I said in the last video I have another one on order, but it won't be here for a few days. So, and a note to everybody, in case you didn't know this already. 2 videos ago when I was filming all the grinding and stuff, grinding sparks came up here and hit my camera and trashed my camera. Dummy. I should know better than that, but anyway, there's little chunks of metal embedded in my lens now that won't come out. So for the most part you can't see it, so I'm not going to worry about it right now. This has been my garage camera, but it's also our general purpose family cam, and it's gotten a bunch of overspray on it, but other than that it hasn't really been damaged by being out in the garage, but now it's trashed. So this Christmas time I think it'll be time for a new camera. This one's almost 10 years old, so it's lasted quite a long time, so we got a good run out of this one. Anyway, alright, we got our first coat of Fiberglass on, hopefully the only coat of Fiberglass on for most of this. This piece here ended up being a little more cratered than I'd like. When I welded it, the metal just sank in a little bit more than I expected it to, so I'm going to have to build that up a little bit more. The rest of it looks pretty good. This weld along here, it's pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with that. All the way around the back here, I built this edge up here with a little bit more fiberglass than the weld actually needed to try and make it look that when it's done. So this stuff is dry enough on the first. I did it in sections because I don't have enough, or didn't think I had enough Fiberglass, and I didn't want to run out, so I did it 3 sections to make sure it didn't kick on me while I was in the middle. Anyway, this part's ready to sand, so I'm gonna start working on that. Alright, here's the result of the first application of Fiberglass. It's actually really nice. I ran my hand along here. I have my gloves on right now, so I'm not going to touch it, but it's real smooth actually. I think it's pretty good. There's probably just a small amount of little ripples in there, but it looks really nice. Look down the line there. Looks pretty good. This may be a high spot right here in the corner because all the Fiberglass sanded off. This piece is pretty close here. It needs a little bit more. This edge here is looking really nice. There's not a lot of Fiberglass on here, as you can see. Just a little bit. But we got a nice straight line there. Looks really nice. The body line's a little high right now, so I can put a little more Fiberglass filler on the bottom here to bring the bottom edge out, and that'll give me some Fiberglass to do the little radius on it. I don't think this is a high spot right here. It looks like a high spot. If I come and look at it here, I don't think so. I'm going to go ahead and put another coat of Fiberglass in here to fill this up. You can see it's not off by a lot. It looks worse than it really is. Probably end up with about a 1/16 of an inch of Fiberglass there. That's not so bad. And then I'll leave that. And then when I come along and do all the final gap work and stuff here, I may end up tapping this down. And it's possible that I may end up sanding this out and trying to adjust this a little bit, but it seems like it's okay, so I'm going to leave it for now. This edge here is a little high. Same thing. I'm not going to mess with that at the moment. I'm going to wait for my dad to get back. He's out of town right now because we got to tweak this door a little bit, and I can't really do that by myself because we got the hood on with no springs, so I can't take it off. But even if the springs are, I wouldn't be able to do it by myself. But so he'll be back in a week or two, and then we'll work on this door a little bit more, get it exactly where we want it, and then we may have to muck around with this some more here. But anyway, this is looking pretty good. I did the fiberglass all up inside the wheel wells. I did not do the spot welds on the drop-off pan. We'll wait till my dad gets back again to be crawling around under the car. I'll wait for him for that. But this is looking pretty nice. So a little bit more fiberglass here and there. And this is done for now. And so I'll get that done right now. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start pulling some of these dents out here, do this repair in here. I'm probably not going to mess with any of this in here. It's pitted, but none of the rust has come back. It's been 3 years, or 2 years basically, since I epoxied all of this, and there's no signs of any rust coming back, so I don't think it's going to be an issue. Obviously I have to fix this because there's a crater there, a hole. And that's it. So anyway, let me mix up some more fiberglass and get those last spots, and then I'll start working on this. Alright, so while I'm waiting for that stuff to dry, I sprayed some guide coat on here. Gonna go over this real quick with 80 with a soft block here and just mark out where all my big dents are. I mean, I kind of know anyway, but this will help. I got these soft blocks that Roger, Mr. Fireman 164 recommended. I don't know if they're exactly the same ones he has or not, but they're kind of nice because they're flexible, so those quarter panels on most cars aren't really straight. Except for Sam's car, of course. The Impala. Anyway, I'm going to hit this. Alright, you can see it's still a little bit wobbly. It's going to need some more fine tuning, but that's pretty close. It's not bad. A little low spot right there. As I said, we're just going to leave it like that for now until I finalize this edge work, like I said. And then decide if I need to tap this down or do what, but looks pretty nice overall. That's wax and grease and remover on there, by the way. I know a lot of people say don't do that on filler, but this is fiberglass filler, so I think it's fine. I'm going to wipe it off anyway, though. And that stuff will have plenty of time to evaporate before I get around to painting it. So, after blocking this down real quick, oh my gosh, what a mess. When I first did that, I thought, oh man, I really worked the heck out of this panel. Then I looked at it and like, nope, that's where all the dents are. There's a dent there, there's a dent there, there's a dent there. That may not be a dent right there, but it's certainly a low spot. But gosh, what a mess. And then I blocked this thing down real quick just to give you an idea of all the whoop-de-doos in there. It's pretty straight, as you can see, but you can see all these vertical lines in it. And those were there when we first put on the panel. I remember looking down the panel and seeing that. So I think I created that low spot there somewhere along the way, pushing on it or doing something. I don't remember that being there, but I do remember seeing that when we were starting to put the panel on. You could see a dent right there. But all in all, it looks pretty straight. So at least, you know, from this edge down, it didn't warp. This edge up is hard to tell until we get paint on it. But anyway, so I'm going to grind the epoxy out of these spots here and start pulling some dents and see how far I can get with that. Alright, for those of you that haven't seen this in action before, you got to get one of these if you have any amount of dents to pull. I don't remember how much this was, $100, something like that. From Harbor Freight. You get a proper one from a real store, they're expensive, but they just make it so easy to pull these dents. Go ahead and I'll show you how that works. So you just put these studs in here and just weld them on here. Then you can use the dent puller. Glasses, because this thing shoots sparks at me sometimes. Or my face shield, I should say. So, put it on your dent, push down, done. How easy that is? Now you don't have to drill a hole and use your standard dent puller with the screw-in studs, so this is really nice. There you go. That's that. All right, I have never really done this much in the past before. I'm going to try and experiment. So I got all the Rogers tools here: stud lever, spoon. Let's see about getting this guy in here. So get that on there. Try and find a spot where I can still get the spoon in there. So pull up on it. Try and pull up on it and use the spoon to knock down the high spot at the same time. This one in the middle is pretty deep though, so I think I gotta go for it on this one. That's already pretty good. I'm liking that already. So I'll see if I can get the stud lever in here for this spoon. Feels pretty good already. Get my pseudo straight edge out here. Look-see. Yeah, I think that guy's done. So there's a few ways to get these studs off. I'm using the big, heavy studs. It comes with two sizes. I like these. The small ones I tend to pull them out, but you can snip them off and then grind it down with your roll-lock disc or whatever. The smaller ones you can usually just take a pair of pliers and twist them off, but the big ones, when I've tried that, I end up leaving a hole behind and I've got welding to do, so I'm trying to avoid that with these guys. So I'm just going to grind that down. Alright, so we've gone over everything here with the stud lever and the dent puller, and it's still a little ripply. It's not flat yet, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sand off all of this epoxy here, and I'm going to use the shrinking disc on it to try and level it out a little bit with that to see if I can get it any closer. There's a low spot right in here that I keep trying to pull up, but I'm not really getting anywhere with it, so you know, I welded right here, so this whole corner is kind of sunk in right there, but there's probably a high spot right in here, which I've been tapping down. But anyway, let me get this sanded off and let's get the shrinking disc out and have some fun with that. Alright, we got the angle grinder, a little soap and water, towel. So that's the shrinking disc. As I mentioned the last time I used this, I have the small one. The bigger one might be better for this job. But I'm just going to go along here and try and find the, I'm just going to go across this whole thing, I guess. I don't really know what I'm doing, so let's just do it. So basically you if you haven't seen this before, you run this on here a little bit just to heat up the metal, and then you quench it with water, and the quick cooling gets the metal to go into the right spot, in theory. That probably wasn't hot enough. You want to see the metal kind of mist off, the water mist off when you spray it, so it's not probably hot enough. That was better that time. You saw it boil off when it hit, so. Come over in this area here. Oh, my stuff's going off. There's so much vibrations. Anyway, that's the trick, so I'm just going to keep moving along doing that. Alright, I would not go as far as saying that's straight. But certainly straighter. I think that's pretty good to put some filler on it. So I'm going to go over all of that with 80 grit, put a good scuff in it, and then put a coat of Evercoat on there. Alright, let's do this. A lot of bubbles in my filler here. I didn't do a very good job mixing it. I mixed too much, I'm sure. I know I'm not very good at this, so anybody that says you suck, yeah, I know. But I am always looking for ways to get better, so if you see something that could be done better, let me know. That one's a little tricky there. I have filler left here, so I'm just going to go ahead and run it all the way to the bottom. I would have stopped otherwise. Just trying to use this stuff since it's expensive. Too much off right there. Probably diminishing returns, and I should probably stop right there. There's that little corner down on the bottom of the car that I did. I want to put a little bit of this on there too, but you don't need to watch that. Alright, so it's set up enough where I can go through and take the high spots off with the sanding block here. I'm not looking to level this out yet, just knock the high stuff off.
etc., etc.
Okay, I'm going to use this block here for this area back in through here. It's got a little bit of flex in it, not a lot, but this is supposed to be pretty flat in through here. And I'll use some other blocks up here, maybe my really flexy block or one of the soft blocks, I don't know. The soft block I was using, that green, was a little too flexible, so anyway, we're gonna go ahead and give this a try. Alright, I think I'm gonna call it a day right there. It didn't turn out as nice as I would have liked. These spots are still a little low here, so they're gonna need a little more filler to get them up to snuff. There's not a lot of filler there, as you can see. There's the fiberglass, so it's, you know, it's not a whole lot. 32nd of an inch or something, I think. It's really not much. So I sanded most of it off, as you can see. The top edge here actually turned out really nice. That's nice and smooth, and not a lot of filler there. This spot's still too low here. It looked good when I was working on it, but then you run your hand across here and you can feel it dip right there. So it's really hard to sand this, because if you just kind of do this block here, you end up digging in right there. So I gotta be careful when I'm working on that spot. This little corner down here turned out real nice. I'm real happy with that. That looks really close to what the other side looks like. Even better, I think. So that's good. So that's it. I don't think I'm ready to put up my still sanding sign yet. I am doing body work now, but I still have some more other stuff to do, I think. I'll put my still sanding sign up when I'm done doing repairs like this, and then that's pretty much all I'll be doing from that point out, is sanding. So anyway, let me know what you guys think of all of this. I'm pretty happy with how the quarter panel turned out. I think with just a little bit of finesse, this edge is going to be nice and happy here. It's really close as it is, so I think that's going to be good. That bottom edge, I think, turned out okay. Time will tell on that one, but I think that looks pretty good. So anyway, I think we're good. Anyway, take it easy, everybody, and I will talk to you soon.